Okay, this is lesson 4.6 notes where we are doing one-step inequalities using multiplication or division. So we have two key ideas. Multiplication property of equality means we multiply the same amount to both sides. And the division property of inequality means that we divide the same amount by both sides. There is an added step, so I'm going to put here note. When we multiply or divide by a negative number, our inequality switches direction. So I'm just going to write switch direction. And that's because negative means opposite. And when we had an equal sign, we didn't have to switch anything. But with inequalities, we have to make our less than switch over to greater than anytime we work with a negative number. Okay, so we have a couple examples that I'm going to do with you here. It says solve x divided by 5 is less than or equal to negative 3. So the opposite of dividing by 5 would be to multiply by 5. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5, which then will get me x is less than or equal to negative 15. Okay, once we have our answer, we're going to write negative 15 in the center. And then we're going to have a closed circle because it's also equal to it. X is less, so we shade to the left. And then ordering our number line, remember this is our negative direction versus our positive direction. So to the right, we're going to add. We're going to have negative 14, negative 13. And over to the left, we're going to subtract. So we're going to get more negative here, negative 16, negative 17. Okay, for part B here, we have 6x is greater than negative 18. So x is being multiplied by 6. The opposite would be to divide by 6. And we get x is greater than negative 3. So we're going to have our negative 3 in the center. It's going to be an open circle because there is no equal sign. Greater than means shading to the right. And then adding 1 going to the right. And subtracting 1 going to the left. Okay, you can pause this video and try the next 3 questions and then come back. All right, looking at number 1 here, we have n divided by 3, so we're going to multiply by 3, both sides. And we get n is greater than, 1 times 3 is 3. Oh, I'm sorry, n is less than. So we're going to have an open circle at 3. Less means to the left. 4, 5, 2, 1. Number 2, we have m divided by 10 on this side of the equation, so we're going to multiply by 10, both sides. Since that was positive, our inequality does not switch direction. And we have 10 times negative 0.5, which is negative 5. M is on this side of the equation, so if we go to rewrite that, it's m is greater than or equal to negative 5. Negative 5 in the center. And ordering our number line, m is greater. Greater means shading to the right. Okay, we have 2/3 times p. Remember that when you have a fraction, in order to undo that, we have to multiply by the flip. So we're going to multiply by 3 halves, lining up that inequality. These all cross-cancel for 1s, which gives us 1 times p for p. And then negative 3 times 3 halves is negative 4.5. So p is less than negative 4.5 if we rewrite it left to right. So we're going to have negative 4.5 in the center. We're going to have an open circle because there's no equal sign to it. And p is less. Less means shading to the left. Okay, we're going to add a 0.1 going to the right. So this is negative 4.4, negative 4.3. We're going to add a 0.1 going to the left, negative 4.6, negative 4.7. Pause this video and try the next 3 problems and then come back. Okay, looking at number 4, we have 4b is greater than or equal to 2. So we have to divide out that 4 and get b is greater than or equal to 1/2. So we're going to have 1/2 in the center here. Closed circle, b is greater than or equal to. And then we're going to add halves going to the right. So this will be 2/2, 3/2. Subtracting a half would be 0, and then -1/2. Number 5, we're going to divide both sides by the 12, and we get k is less than or equal to -2. Filling in our circle, adding a negative going to the right, and k is less than or equal to. Okay, last one on this front side here. We're going to divide by 2.5, divide by 2.5. Lining up that inequality, we get q is greater than -6. So we have -6 in the center, open circle, -7, -8, -5, -4, and q is greater than, if you want to rewrite it to help with your shading. Okay, now we're going to get to the practice with when we have a negative coefficient. We have a negative coefficient. We have -4x is greater than 16, so we're going to divide by -4. When we divide by a negative, our sign has to switch direction. So we have x is less than -4. Okay, this is where we do our flip. Okay, so that's the only thing we need to remember is that negative means opposite. Anytime we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to switch the direction. We don't have an equal sign here, so we have an open circle. X is less, which means shading to the left. We have -5, -6. Over to the right, we have -3, -2. Okay, B, we have -3/2 times x. So to undo that, we're going to multiply by -2/3, both sides. Again, we're multiplying by a negative, so our sign is going to switch direction. And we have x is greater than. Again, remember you can use your y equals to calculate this. We get -4. We have a closed circle. X is greater than or equal to, so shading to the right. -3, -2, -5, and -6. Okay, you can pause this video and try the next 4 problems and then come back and check your work. Looking at number 7, we have x is divided by -3, so the opposite would be to multiply that -3. Again, since we're multiplying by a negative, our sign switches direction. We have 12 on this side. -4 times -3 is +12. And here they cancel, so we have x is less than 12. Open circle at 12, adding 1 going to the right, subtracting 1 going to the left, and less means shade to the left. Number 8, we have y divided by 2, so we're going to multiply by a +2. Since we're multiplying by a positive, we do not switch the direction of the sign, and we get y is greater than or equal to 2 times 0.5 is 1. We want to rewrite that as y is greater than or equal to 1. We're going to have a shaded in circle, shading to the right, 1, 2, 3, 0, -1. Okay, number 9, we have 6/5 m, so to undo that, we're going to multiply by the flip. These cancel out. It was positive, so our sign does not switch direction. We have m is less than or equal to 5/6 times -12 is -10. M is less than or equal to -10. Pointy part next to m. So that means closed circle, shading to the left. We have -10, so this is -11, -12, -9, -8. Okay, last number 10. We have -2/5, so we're going to multiply by -5/2. Again, we're multiplying by a negative, so our sign switches direction. And we have x is greater than or equal to. Negative times a negative is positive. We have 20 here. So 20 goes in the center, 21, 22, 19, 18. And x is greater than or equal to, so shading to the right for greater than.